Towards the end of his time on earth, Jesus told his disciples that he was going to go back to the Father, but that he would send to them another helper, the Holy Spirit. When Jesus tells his disciples that they were going to receive the Holy Spirit, he said that they would receive power from heaven. See, the Holy Spirit is the power of God in our lives. Bob says it this way, that the Holy Spirit does in our lives everything that Jesus died for us to receive. That everything that Jesus accomplished on the cross, the Holy Spirit gives to us. And the thing that comes to my mind first is that in John 10:10, Jesus says that I've come that you may have life and have it abundantly. So everything that the Holy Spirit is doing in our lives is to help us experience the abundant life that Jesus died for us to have. And that life is probably best seen and modeled in Jesus himself. So the Holy Spirit is at work in us to enable us to experience the life of Christ. And first and foremost, that means that we get to experience the nature of Jesus. In Galatians 5, we see the fruits of the Spirit. Paul tells us that this is the essence of Jesus' character and his nature. This is what he was like when he was on earth. And those are the things that the Holy Spirit want to make part of our nature too. He wants us to have joy, and he wants us to be loving. He wants us to be patient. He wants us to be kind. All of those things that Paul characterized as the things that the Spirit of God works in us are meant to be part of how we live and the way that we interact with people. But it's not just about Jesus' nature. It's about his works too. A couple different times in his letters, Paul talks about the gifts of the Spirit. Now, when you look at the Gospels, you see Jesus do a lot of cool things. He did miracles, he did signs, and he did wonders. And if you look at 1 Corinthians 12, Paul mentions those same things as being gifts of the Spirit that are at work in other people's lives. Those are things that are meant to be at work in our lives. The things that we see Jesus doing in the gospel, we're meant to do them today by the power of the Holy Spirit. Now, what's really interesting about Jesus is that while he was on earth, he was fully God, but he was also fully man. Why is that a big deal? It's because what it means is he laid aside everything he was able to do because he was God, and he chose to do everything as a man through the power of the Holy Spirit. And since we have that same Spirit, it means that we can live life the way that Jesus lived. We can have his nature, and we can even do the things that he did.